everybody. Welcome back to another exciting Drunkard's Walk. I am Jethro Nolan. I am part of the hosting duo here, and we're excited to have you. And I'm thrilled and delighted as always. Where is he? My host is usually here somewhere. Oh, Matt, there you are.
I'm right here, Jethro, the same place I always am.
Oh, my God. I was worried partially that you had gone off on some zany adventure or had some transformative experience that you were going to tell me about. So I didn't think you would be in the regular spot where you regularly are.
You know, it's funny that you bring up how transformative these things are, because this was a crazy week for me. I had a really kind of animated time with this one. In fact, I traveled back in time again to 2015, even though it seemed like the future. And there were all of these giant robots that were changing into vehicles, and I was helping them out. Essentially, I was one of just a couple of humans that were running around. There was a real huge thing. There is this giant unicorn in this. No, wait. It was a Unicron in the sky, and it was destroying everything. And I'm not gonna tell you too much about it, but we kind of lost our leader. But fortunately, there was this young hot rod, and he was able to kind of take over. And I think things are going to be okay for seasons 4 and 5. Oh,
that's good. I'm sure you captured everything quite well, but whatever it was, I'm sure it was more than meets the eye.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And that is the only reference I can make with regard to that particular franchise, because I don't know that I've ever seen a Transformers movie, nor do I ever hope to see one.
Oh, wow. Well, if you're going to see one, that's the one to see, is the animated version from 1986.
Okay.
The live action ones are pretty much garbage. Although Bumblebee was pretty good. It was way different than the other ones. It was like not quite an action film. I mean, John Cena's in it, so it's got a little, it's kind of an action film, but it's not as much of an action film. So I do recommend that if you're in the mood to see any kind of giant robot transforming into anything.
You know, I'll put it on my list between cognitive science and epistemology books that I enjoy.
Perfect.
Sure, I'll dive back into that 80s children franchise. Was that the one that Orson Welles was one of the voices, one of his final
his final acting role, and he didn't even get to finish all of it. Leonard Nimoy had to record a bunch of lines that he didn't get to finish, because Leonard Nimoy did a voice in that movie as well, along with who else is in there? Robert Stack is in there.
Of Unsolved Mysteries fame.
What's the guy's name? From The Breakfast Club. Judd Nelson.
Yeah, there you go.
Name? Judd Nelson. Yeah, I kept wanting to say Judd Hirsch. I knew that wasn't right.
No, he's from Ordinary People.
Right. Yeah. He's in that. So is the Micro Machine guy. The Micro Machine guy has a voice in there. Oh, and Weird Al has a song in the soundtrack.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like an eclectic mix.
Eric Idle is in that movie as well.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what the cast party for that would have been like.
I mean, it was all animated, so probably there wasn't one. They were all probably recording in separate things.
But wouldn't there be some sort of celebration, a premiere or a wrap party? Or do animated shows not do that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I have no actual success in the entertainment industry, so I wouldn't know.
No, I'm not sure either. I'd have that party, but I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, speaking of transforming.
You're going to transform us out of this conversation, are you?
It might seem like we are a bus of banter, but really we're a robot of information discovery.
Oh, boy.
We'll fix it in post. For those of you who are just joining us, we wander through Wikipedia, going from one randomly selected topic to another, only by clicking the links within Wikipedia. And we learn something, and we laugh a little, we love an awful lot.
That's right. That is absolutely the case. And I am happy to say that we are still able to do this. In Russia, you cannot access Wikipedia anymore. And I think that along with 1,000 other things, is pretty terrible what's going on over there. So I just want to speak to that and relate it to what we're doing in some way.
I thank you, although I'm sure that the people who listen to this podcast 3 weeks later after we release it, after current events have started, are probably hopefully not relying on our podcast for finger on the pulse current events.
Yeah, no, hopefully not. Well, and I would hope that actually it's no longer a current event. That would be great if when this drops April 5th. So
if we're all lucky, Vladimir Putin will be dead by then.
Whoa.
That's the only way this ends. You know that, right? That's the only way this ends. Putin has to die for this to end because he will not end it on his own accord. Wow. Sorry to drop a truth bomb there, but I found myself very disturbed earlier this week when Lindsey Graham and I actually were in agreement about something. And it was that very fact that Vladimir Putin is, this ain't going to end with him unless somebody ends him. Anyway, you don't tune in for my geopolitical analysis, folks.
No, you don't.
We're here for lighthearted goofs and for good old link clicking. But we can't click on any links unless we have a destination, Matt.
That's what we need, is a destination. Yes.
There we go. So how are we going to get that?
Well, I think we should ask the guest who is here with us, Mr. Mike Rhodes.
Yay!
Hey, I'm here. I've been holding my tongue, wanting to talk about Judd Hirsch this whole time.
Sure.
And I have kept silent.
All right. Well, now that you're officially on, share some Judd Hirsch knowledge. What do you like?
I just really want him. If I ever encounter a genie's lamp, I will wish for him to have been in the Transformers animated movie instead of Judd Nelson.
Sure.
That's wish number one.
There you go. I think that's a great idea. I think that's absolutely should be the first wish on everyone's list.
Thank you for that idea.
Find a genie lamp. Yeah.
I just love the idea of like a nebbishy transformer.
Yes. always in a bad mood. That transformer.
Yeah, I love it. I love anything he's in, honestly. So I'd be down.
What is he in? What are your top 5 Judd Hirsch projects? Matt?
Top 5.
Yes.
Oh gosh. I mean, well, Taxi. I mean, is above him. I mean, it's just that takes slots 1 through 3 for me.
Sure.
And then
Ordinary People.
Ordinary People. Sure.
Dear John. Right?
Dear John, sure. That was a short-lived sitcom. I mean, I like his work in Independence Day as well. I think if you're going to pick a performance out of Independence Day, his is the one to pick. So.
There you go. Also, if you haven't seen his sex tape, it is woefully underrated.
Yikes.
He and Cloris Leachman get into it.
Oh my God.
I mean, keep in mind it was the 70s, so there's a lot of hair everywhere. But they went at it.
Well, that's upsetting. Mike, it's good to see you, man. We haven't seen you here on this show for quite a while. You gave us some topics back in season 1. I think you gave us the Flatwoods Monster. We got Bobo Brazil from you in season 1 as well.
That sounds right.
And then Bob Zmuda in season 2. And have we seen you since then?
Robin Hood. We did.
That was on my show.
Swap.
Yeah.
We did a podcast swap. You guys came on. We did Prolonging the Magic.
That's right. Prolonging the Magic. That's what we had
with Addie Twig.
Topic. Yes.
Yeah, and then we went on your podcast and did a 9-hour recap of a 2-hour movie.
Yes, we did. And what a hit that was! I'm sure.
What a great movie that is.
5 to 6 downloads. Did that get
doesn't of listeners. You always have to. Matt and I are a little long-winded, so even alone we're bad, but put together it's a recipe.
Put other people with us. Well, it's good to see you, man. What have you been up to? Anything fun? Anything exciting happening for you? Are you back to doing shows again in person or anything like that?
I am. Yeah, I produced a variety show for Arcade Comedy Theater called The Latchkey Kids, and just this past weekend we had our 3rd live performance, and it went very well. And we're just waiting to hear when the next one will be.
Cool.
Hopefully soon.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, this drops April 5th, so probably maybe in the month of April sometime.
Hopefully, that would be great.
Right? Yeah, okay. All right. So look around, folks. Go to arcadecomedytheater.com and look up the Latchkey Kids, especially if you were a Latchkey Kid or a child of the, what do we call it? Child of the 90s? Is that what you would call yourself, Mike?
That's what. Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. I was definitely a Latchkey Kid, and it kind of pays homage to those years of my life. Yeah.
Sure. I understand. I was the same, very much coming home, walking home from the bus and having I had the little wallet that had the keys inside of it. So I could get the keys out and, open my door because my parents weren't home. And I wasn't supposed to tell anybody that, but my parents aren't home. So
it's too, I think that it's safe to tell us that
you
now.
Survived. Yeah.
Is it? Okay. All right, good. So we're past the statute of limitations on telling people that my parents aren't home when I'm however old I was, I don't even remember. But yeah, very very good. Good times definitely had by all. And it's a great show. I have seen numerous times of it and have enjoyed it quite a bit. So thanks for making it.
Thank you for watching.
No, you bet.
And you were on the first episode of Latchkey Kids when we were
That's
online.
True.
Yeah,
that's true. Yes, the online version of it. And then I realized that online improv wasn't something that worked for my brain.
I
had to stop.
always say that I don't mourn Zoomprov at all.
No,
I don't mourn it at all.
No, that was not good stuff. Now we're recording this on Zoom, but for whatever reason, I find that fine. Like, I guess because people don't need to see it. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure why, but seems to work. Well, that's great. So look out for that show, folks. And yeah, I don't know what else. Anything else exciting going on in your life?
Nothing else exciting at all. No,
Okay.
not a single other thing that I enjoy. And
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's
Good.
I did have
Well,
a really good Dole Whip at Disney World a few weeks ago, but beyond that, not much joy in my life.
Okay. What flavor did you go with?
The pineapple and vanilla swirl.
Yes. Yes. A classic. Yeah, that's good. We did. We had a Disney World topic last season. We had Epcot as one of our destinations last season. So got to talk a little bit about that on there.
Indeed.
That was a good time. Yeah.
Speaking of destinations, Mike, what do you have for us today?
Oh yeah.
I thought about this for a long time, and I came up with a lot of different things. But what I want to talk about is what I feel is the greatest television comedy in history, the Larry Sanders Show. I don't think there is anything better written, better performed than the Larry Sanders Show on television.
Wow. That is a strong take, but it is totally justifiable position. It's a great show.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I agree. And I see you're wearing your Comedy Center sweatshirt, so you got to walk onto the set.
That's a coincidence, but
show, right?
I knew that the set was there, and I didn't know where it was, and I kind of rounded the corner, and there it was, and I wept.
Yeah, it's almost hidden. Actually, it's behind the corner.
Yeah, you're like looking at all this laugh-in shit.
Yeah,
and then you walk around the corner, and there's Gary Shandling's desk, and I was just filled with tears when I saw the thing.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, is it because of Gary Shandling and the sad end that he was taken from us too early, or is it the Larry Sanders Show specifically? Like what? That's
certainly part of it. Gary Shandling's very important. Gary Shandling is on my Mount Rushmore. Gary Shandling is on my Mount Rushmore of comedy. But Larry Sanders Show, not only is it a perfect piece of entertainment, but it's just very important to me personally and emotionally. It got me through a very, very difficult time in my life. Like, we would watch this show on a loop. We would, I watched it as a kid when it aired on HBO, and it was always great and everything like that. But we rediscovered it during a really dark time, and we just watched it over and over and over again. So it has a very deep place in my heart too, for that reason.
That's wonderful. I'm glad that it was able to provide you some solace. I will say, as much as any strong comedy from the 90s it's aged relatively well. Like, there's certainly some moments in it that you're like, oh
yeah,
that's we don't laugh at that anymore.
Yeah,
but,
I wish a few things I wish I hadn't heard, but
it's still remarkably wonderfully written and well performed, and just a absolute stellar cast.
It can't be beat, that cast. It's just Jeffrey Tambor is a god on that show.
It's so interesting to watch, like, the character that he plays in Larry Sanders versus Arrested Development, because I don't know that I knew Jeffrey Tambor before Hank Kingsley, and he did such a great job in that role. I thought, oh, this actor's just an idiot, because he so convincingly plays one. But then he's a totally different, sort of manipulative patriarch on Arrested Development. That is like, oh no, it's an actor with a fair amount of skill, and sadly, some offstage baggage.
Yeah, real problems now, as we found out. Yeah.
Again, just don't read too much about anybody whose work you enjoy is the lesson here, because there's always a stuff lurking under the surface. That's why Gary Shandling, smart move on his part to die before anything could be discovered about him. I feel like it's a really good PR move, as Jerry Seinfeld once said, that it's you lock in your positive reputation by doing that.
I guess that's true. I am embarrassed to say I've not seen all of the Larry Sanders Show. I have watched it, but it was on when it was on HBO. I didn't have HBO, so I didn't watch it when it was originally on, and I know it is now on a streaming service. I want to say maybe Hulu,
HBO Max,
HBO Max,
HBO Max. But it was on something else too. It was on a streaming service before HBO Max.
I used to watch it on Amazon Prime.
That's it. I think it was Amazon Prime. Yeah. And because I had watched it previously during at that time.
Sure.
But yeah, what a great show. Now this is the second topic now that you're giving us that is tangentially related to a comedian that died too early. With Bob Zmuda and Andy Kaufman, and now you're giving us Larry Sanders Show with Gary Shandling. So is this going to be a running theme now when we bring you back for season 7?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do Shemp Howard next.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did he die young? I feel like
I have no idea.
He feels like somebody who probably died young, right, Shemp?
He is still alive.
Oh my God.
Well, this is awesome. This and great too, because we get to go to something that is enjoyable and fun. Which is not always the case. Sometimes we have no idea what something is. Like Blaseball, for instance, had no idea what that was, but now
here we go.
Now we know, and this is something we definitely know. So this is going to be great. This is going to be a lot of fun to go to.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I can't thank you enough for giving us this delightful reminder of the fantastic Larry Sanders Show, and I look forward to making our way there. And I encourage everybody to go see Latchkey Kids when it next appears on stage. And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Take care, Mike.
We'll see you soon.
All right, Jethro. So we've got to get from food blogging to the Larry Sanders Show.
All right, then. We got to do two things before we start that. Oh, do you? You've announced that it's
challenging.
Do you
now?
now?
It's gonna be a challenge. You don't think it's gonna be a challenge?
I feel like you throw in a noun out there like challenge or an adjective like challenging. You're already telegraphing what your guess is going to be.
Oh yeah, you're right. I haven't written anything down yet, so
I feel like you should absolutely not be doing that, because you're giving me an advantage, and
maybe
I'm already beating you handily this season in terms of.
Yeah, you're up 4-2. It's true. I could though be using that strategy of the reverse psychology.
You could be doing that. However, I think that is something that you just thought of now to try to cover for your gaffe of telling me about how challenging it was going to be.
Oh, you think so?
Yes. And I see what you're doing with the tone of voice. Like I'm already there. I'm already at Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Then you'll definitely know. So I'm going to write down my prediction now. Do you write down your prediction yet?
I have in fact written down my prediction.
All right,
and also we need to cover off on what we're having to drink.
We do need to talk about that for sure. I still haven't written down my prediction because I'm waffling a little bit here, but let me go. Yeah, I think that's probably no. Yeah, I have no idea. Okay,
good one.
I got it.
Good one.
I got it. Okay.
All right then.
Are you having a drink? Are you drinking this evening?
I actually just finished off a lovely little glass of Pinot Noir from the Bota Boxed Wine Company. It's a bag in a box.
It's
box.
Oh yeah.
But I clearly didn't pour myself enough to last the entire episode, so I'm finished early. What about you? You have anything?
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm actually delving into the third of the partakes, the non-alcoholic beers that I've been trying out this season. This is the Partake Dark. So it reminds you kind of a more of like a stout, perhaps, or a porter. It pours a deep brown with notes of roasted coffee, walnuts, and plum, full of flavor from start to finish. It's time to add this beauty into your rotation. That's what it says on the can here. So these Canadian non-alcoholic beers are not bad, I have to say. They are not bad.
Very good. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying them. All right. Food blogging.
Move on.
I will say,
get out of here somehow.
That the number of links departing the food blogging page is very small.
Oh no.
There are not many. I mean, we only need one, but I literally only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the first sentence, and then virtually 0 thereafter.
You see 5 in the first sentence?
Yes.
One,
in the first paragraph, I mean to say.
Oh, I only see 4.
So there's journalism.
Yeah.
There is blog.
Yeah.
There's food photography.
Mm-hmm.
Foodies.
Yeah.
And food photography again.
Oh, I see. So you were counting food photography twice, even though it's the same link. That's
I'm using the European system of
the European system of counting. Excuse me. I'm always on the English system, so it's weird for me. There are no others. There are no other links out of here other than those ones that you've read.
All right. So I believe blog is how we came in. Is that correct? Didn't we have blogs and then down at the bottom there was like types of blogs?
Yeah. That sounds right to me.
We could possibly go there, but then it's in a way it's a step backwards.
I think journalism. I think journalism is the way out of here because even though the Larry Sanders Show is a fictional show, it is based off of the idea of like a late night talk show, right? Mm-hmm.
Which, as we all know, is where most people get their journalism.
Well, it is now. Actually, it is. So I do think that but I think that there's at least a connection between journalism and that type of entertainment. These other things, food photography, foodies.
Oh no,
I don't see it.
I would love to argue with you for the sake of
arguing.
It's my raison d'être.
Sure.
But yeah, there's no other link on this page that's going to be a better out than journalism. So let's sally forth, shall we?
Because last week we did go through journalist, let's be clear, but now we're going through journalism. So it is a different page.
Very good.
And you have to hope with journalism, it's going to be a pretty long page.
Indeed.
So let's see if that's in fact the case.
There are many links on here. There's a whole lot of forms of journalism: access journalism, advocacy journalism, broadcast journalism, business journalism, citizen journalism, fake news.
Fake news.
Always fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but you mean fake news like fake news, not like fake news like SNL or The Daily Show or something?
No, not news parody programs. I mean actual disinformation.
Yeah, that's not great.
Malicious actors.
Hey, you know what's on here? Gonzo's back, baby.
You love it. I hope you're referring to the Muppet.
I'm not, unfortunately. I wish that I was, but Gonzo journalism, first championed by Hunter S. Thompson. Is a highly personal style of reporting. That's what it says.
Are there other Gonzo journalists whose names I should know? Because I can only think of Hunter S. Thompson as the only name associated with
here. I don't actually even know. He's the only person that I ever associate with that, so I could not help you. Mm-hmm. I do see that there's a lot of links out of here to like different types of social media, like Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. And I see links out to things like I think. There's a section on television. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I mean, television it might be a way.
Indeed, it might. I do see a link for a list of journalists here.
Okay.
And periodically there will be journalists who sort of appear as themselves on entertainment programs. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that is a way in. Like Tom Brokaw hung out with David Letterman a bunch as an example.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's a possibility. I mean, there's actual people on here that were in, like, I'm loath to even say it, but Donald Trump is on here, and he was on Saturday Night Live. So, like, there's a connection through that.
Possibly, yes.
YouTube, I see CNN.
Something, and I can't quite, it's in the hazy, distant memory of my mind, but something about Donald Trump just it doesn't seem particularly appetizing to me. I wish I could put my finger on what it was.
Oh, you can't figure it out?
That's put me off that successful businessman. But I just can't quite remember why I find the idea of visiting his page.
Well, I'm not going to remind you. I'm not.
I
think I might know, but I'm not going to tell you.
Well, I paid good money for that brain surgery that removed the part of my brain that remembered the years 2016 through 2020, and I'd like to keep it gone.
Sure. I understand that.
At least I think I paid good money. I don't know. It was during that time. So.
It would be tough to know. I see TV and radio linked on here, which it just takes you to news broadcasting. Arts journalism is on here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a possibility. Video. Oh, these are all types of journalism, though. These aren't. These are. I mean, it's not surprising. It's a journalism page, but I was hoping that they would be like actual links to those things, not just.
Maybe is it possible that we could get to like the White House Correspondents' Dinner from here?
Possibly, yeah.
That is an overlap between journalism and entertainment.
It is.
Might connect us to comedians and actors and such.
I don't see it linked itself on here, although CNN is on here. I think that they're somehow related to, well, no, I guess they just
CNN is definitely more in the line of entertainment rather than actual news. So that is definitely straddling the
You know what there's a link to on here? There's a link on here to cosplay.
I saw that.
That's an interesting one, huh?
Indeed.
Broadcast television is on here too. And newsreels. So, I mean, anyway, I like cosplay kind of. Just to get into entertainment, maybe. I mean, it's not a very direct route necessarily, but it seems like the most interesting one so far.
Certainly possible. I do like CNN because that gets us to cable. Because it is the cable news network for that reason. True. But cosplayer could certainly get us into it. I mean, we'll certainly discover a lot going through cosplayer.
Who owns HBO?
Time Warner
Brothers. Time Warner.
It was
right?
Time Warner, but I think it's AT&T now because John Oliver is always doing bits where he's making fun of the parent company. So they get sold off every couple of years.
Right.
I think it's currently AT&T.
Okay. Even though they have, doesn't AT&T owns Time Warner, right?
Do they?
Well, I mean, HBO has all of the Warner Brothers stuff on it. It has the Looney Tunes cartoons, and it has the DC Comics stuff and everything like that. So I guess what I was saying is if we could get to Time Warner through this, but that being said, I don't see any link to that, so it's kind of moot. I don't think it's going to help us.
Yeah. I feel like CNN gets us closer to like media conglomerates and whatnot, where we could get closer to HBO, possibly.
Yeah. You don't like what did I say before? Something about like television or television broadcasting or something like that.
I mean, for me, that's just a bit more vague. And
sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm not. CNN, no doubt.
I'm not. Hardline opposed to it though. So if you feel strongly about it, I'm malleable. I'm more malleable than I otherwise would be.
I would love to feel strongly about it. Unfortunately, I just don't think that I do. George Orwell's linked on here. Hearst. I mean, William Randolph Hearst is linked on here, and Hearst has television channels now. Like they do like news. They own a bunch of local news broadcasting and things like that. Mm-hmm. In fact, they own that station. Do we call it a station? I don't even know what we call it. The app that Played at Pittsburgh is on that we talked about last week.
Nice.
They are the owners of very local newsrooms. Oh, that's interesting. Could newsrooms get us to The Newsroom, which was an HBO show?
It could maybe get us to Broadcast News as well, which was a James L. Brooks film. And James L. Brooks inspired a lot of the work that Judd Apatow did, who was a producer on Larry Sanders. I know it's a tenuous connection.
That's very tenuous, but I do think that the possibly Newsroom to The Newsroom is possibly something that we could get.
I feel like that is a very small percentage chance that there's a link to the Aaron Sorkin, Jeff Daniels vehicle, The Newsroom, on a newsroom page. I could be wrong.
Disambiguation.
Where is this link for Newsroom that you see?
I've lost it, of course. I've scrolled away from it, but I will find it again. It is somewhere on this page.
Oh, I see it under digital
Found it.
age.
Okay.
There it
Oh,
is.
yeah, I went
Notably,
past it.
in the American media landscape, newsrooms have
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
I'm down. Hey, you want to click on newsroom? Let's go.
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. All right, newsroom it is. All right.
Newsroom. And I see newsroom disambiguation right at the top of the page. So if we don't find it on here, I think we can go through that disambiguation. Faux showsies.
Okay, well, you've staked your claim. There's not a whole lot on here. There is, however, a link to Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, and also the newsroom.
Yes. Now, let me ask you this. Was Judd Apatow involved in the newsroom?
No, but it was on HBO.
Yes, but Judd Apatow was one of the producers and had a cameo appearance in Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. So we could easily get to Larry Sanders from Judd Apatow's page.
So I'm suggesting the newsroom to HBO to Larry Sanders show. 3 more links, 3 more pages.
Okay, so
you're suggesting the Legend of Ron Burgundy to Judd Apatow to the Larry Sanders show. So
that's exactly
same deal.
Not same deal. Not same deal. Same number of links, but the scenarios that we are painting are not equal probable. Right?
Oh, really?
The newsroom may have a link to HBO, the channel.
Yeah.
But the channel HBO is not going to have a list of every single show they've ever done. There's not going to be a link to John from Cincinnati on there. There won't be. I guarantee the HBO page does not have a link to John from Cincinnati.
You guarantee it, huh?
I guarantee. I tell you what. Here's how confident I am. And when this whole thing is settled,
we'll
go to the HBO page, and if there is a link to John from Cincinnati on the HBO page, I will donate $100 to the charity of your choice.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to find out.
Very good.
All right. Well, since you're willing to do that, I'm willing to go through Anchorman. So are you sure that Judd Apatow is involved with? He's definitely a producer on
1,000%. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Just making sure.
Absolutely.
Just making sure. You seem very sure. So I'm just making sure.
So it was directed by Adam McKay, but Judd Apatow, produced by Judd Apatow. Boom, bing, boom. There he is, right there. The 3rd or 4th link on the page is Judd Apatow.
All right, and this we're on Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy. So before we jump off to
let's take a look.
Judd Apatow, what I know that we're planning to do here. You're right; he's right there. There's his link. This is widely regarded as one of the best comedy films of the 2000s. Do you agree, Jethro?
I do. I really like Anchorman.
Do you?
It came out. What year did it come out? 2004.
2004. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was shortly after my daughter was born, and like going out. We were in that phase of life when going out to a movie at a theater was an absolute rarity and a treat.
Sure.
And you really couldn't afford to risk babysitting time on a bad movie. So it was always a bit of a hold your breath and hope we chose well. And I laughed myself silly. And we've watched Anchorman countless times since. And I think Will Ferrell's great in it. Christina Applegate is marvelous. Paul Rudd, Steve Carell is fantastic. Dave Koechner, like the whole crew is super fun. It is, as much as I do love me some nice grounded, realistic comedy, like Anchorman is just a bunch of silly goof 'em ups. And I love it dearly. What about you?
Right,
what about you?
Right, that's fair. I mean, I enjoyed Anchorman the first time I saw it. I can't say that I've watched it a ton of times. I have watched it more than once, so I have enjoyed it enough to watch it more than once. There is something about the style of Anchorman, which is very similar to the style of a lot of comedy movies that were coming out around that time. And I will say that it is one of the ones that does it the best.
Mm-hmm.
That particular style. But
give me other movies that are in this style you're talking about, so I can define the perimeter.
Like any movie that had Steve Carell come out at that time, any Judd Apatow movie around that time, any Paul Rudd movie around that time, right? Like, so these same performers went on and did other films that had a very similar feel to them. Not quite the same, but similar. You know what I mean? So like, what's the Paul Rudd one where him and Sean William Scott are role models, similar feel. Mm-hmm. 40-Year-Old Virgin, similar feel. So things along those lines. And
really,
yeah.
really, you'd put 40-Year-Old
so.
Virgin and Anchorman in the same category?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, because for me, like 40-Year-Old Virgin is much more grounded in reality. Like those are real people in modestly exaggerated circumstances, where Anchorman is over the top. Like it's ridiculous in every character is ridiculous and super real. Like sorry, not super real. What's the word I'm looking for? Extended beyond the boundaries of reality, in a way that 40-Year-Old Virgin is absolutely not.
Yeah, okay. I can see that, but it's still, I don't know exactly how to put it. Maybe that's a bad example. Maybe Step Brothers is a better example, or Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
Which I feel like these are all just, now I'm just naming
Will Ferrell, Adam McKay.
Will Ferrell movies, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I felt that Anchorman did a good job of what it was trying to do. It was very entertaining. It was very funny. It was a little bit too long for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't need to be quite as long. So it's only 94 minutes, but it felt long. I think it said it's 94 minutes. Did I see that right?
That sounds minutes. About right. Yeah.
And the second one
the second one is terrible.
Very good at all. That hurt it, right? That hurt its legacy a little bit, because, it was better on its own, I feel.
I mean, is Star Wars any less great because they made a bunch of crappy ones?
Yeah.
It's still like one of the most universally beloved franchises of all time.
For sure. It's still amazing. Look, it could afford to go down a peg or two because it was as good as it was. But is it as good as a franchise now? No, because there's garbage in that franchise, right? It's the same way that The Simpsons isn't as good after season 9. Whatever it might be.
They're on like season 3,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're 30 something, I think. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, after that, it's just not the same kind of stuff. Well, anyway, all right. So have you seen anything else on this page that makes you think you should go to it aside from Judd Apatow? I have not. I'm
not seeing the Larry Sanders Show linked on this page, and it will definitely be linked from Judd Apatow's page. So I don't see any. I was looking as long as we could.
I was looking to see if like Gary Shandling was on here, or if there was a mention perhaps of the Larry Sanders Show, which there is not. So I agree. I think that it's time to head on to Judd Apatow.
There we go.
Judd.
Fantastic. And here we are.
Apatow.
Okay, and there it is. So there's a link to the Larry Sanders Show right there.
Is there? You found it already.
Under career, 1985 to 2003, stand-up and early film and television work.
All right. Well, there you go. So I was still reading through the top part here, finding out that he was born in 1967, an American comedian, director, producer, and screenwriter, and founder of Apatow Productions.
I will say this, though, so Judd Apatow is a really interesting guy. I mean, other than being like a phenomenal writer-director who's done some amazing and enjoyable work and mentored a lot of really great comedy creators. He also, like when he was a kid, his mom worked at a comedy club and he did interviews. And this was during like the stand-up boom of the 1980s. He did interviews for like his high school newspaper with all sorts of famous comedians that he still has on tape. So he's got like an interview with Jerry Seinfeld from like, I don't know, 1984 or something that he's got on tape, and a bunch of stuff like that. There was actually he was on a bus tour of Hollywood that was going like by the Stars homes or whatever. No, I'm not a bus tour. He was driving with a map to the Stars homes. His mom was driving him around, and they drove by Steve Martin's house. And Steve Martin happened to be like out in his yard or whatever. So, and this was, Judd Apatow had, seen Steve Martin. The comedy albums were huge and everything. So he pulled over and went up to Steve Martin and was like, "Hey, can you sign this for me?" And Steve Martin was like, "Yeah, I can't really do that because if I do it for you, then a bunch of other people are going to come and I'm not going to have any privacy and yada, yada." So Judd Apatow goes home and he writes this, just rips Steve Martin a new asshole with this letter about how terrible you are. And it's people like me that buy your albums that made you rich so you could buy that fancy house and you won't even sign my thing, you idiot, and that kind of thing. And so Steve Martin writes back or something, sends him back a card or something to kind of mollify him a little bit. And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were the Judd Apatow." And then years later, when Judd Apatow was editing the Vanity Fair comedy issue or whatnot, he told Steve Martin this anecdote, and they recreated it for a photo on the cover.
Oh, that's fantastic! I love it.
Yeah, it's a fun story.
That is a very fun story. I didn't realize how much he was involved in. There's a lot of things on here that he was involved in that I liked quite a bit. The Ben Stiller Show, The Critic.
I mean, he is hugely influential in terms of comedy from the late '90s through the early 2000s. Like he's just one of those players who touches so many different things.
And I did know that he is the creator of the show Undeclared.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see the show Undeclared?
I never saw it once. I know of it.
It is a show that I own the single season on DVD because I really enjoyed it. It just hit at just the right time. It was like right when I was in college,
Mm-hmm.
And it was just very, very entertaining to me. But it had several of the performers from Freaks and Geeks were in it, and some other performers that went on to to become a little more famous and things like that. But very fun show. But you're right. We have a link here to the Larry Sanders Show. So I say we delay no further and go.
Let us do it.
Show.
And here we are.
The Larry Sanders Show. And that's it. We have found it. It is a television show that aired from August 1992 to May 1998 on HBO. So folks, if you weren't aware of how long it lasted quite a while.
It's a wonderful show. It's just fantastic. Well, and Gary,
Penny Johnson's on. I didn't realize that Penny Johnson Gerald. She's a performer from Star Trek.
Oh, there we go. All right then.
Yes.
Okay.
No, she was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, not as a main character, but now she is in the show The Orville. If you've ever heard of The Orville, it's like a
yep. It's a parody.
Yeah.
The Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane. It's parody, but it's not actually parody. It's more
homage.
Yeah, kind of, right? Like it started out being
it's Seth MacFarlane wishing that he was in Star Trek, so he just made it.
Correct. Well, he wanted to make a Star Trek show, and they were like, no. And so he made this show instead. And it starts out very like kind of overly goofy, but it really like it kind of finds its groove, and it's become kind of like a Star Trek-esque, really good show that I really enjoy anyway. But it's definitely, I mean, it's made for me, so of course I think it's good.
This is true.
Well, this is it. We've found it.
We have indeed found it.
And I don't want to read too much more about it because I know we'll do that next week. And if we've tied, oh good Lord, we're going to have to do a speed run. So let's talk about our guesses. Or did you want me to go first? What do you want to do?
Why don't you go first? You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Well, it took us 5 links to get there. And that's good because that's the number that I wrote on this piece of paper as well.
Now you wrote another number and then wrote 5 beneath it.
I did. That actually is the 5 from last time, or not last time, actually 2 times ago, because I'm reusing a piece of paper. But if you look there, you'll see it's also a 5.
All right.
But I scratched it out because I wasn't sure what I was going to write, and I wrote a 5.
All right. Well, that's very suspect. Well, I had a little more
5s. It's a 5 either way.
I had a little more faith in us, and I wrote 4.
4?
I did.
Oh, well, we're not as good as you think we are.
Clearly not.
We're just as good as I think we are, so... I think last week, what happened last week? I went super low last week, and I had a lot of faith in us, and then we took 8, so that didn't work out. But now, see, I'm also keeping track this season, Jethro, of how many times we hit it right on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you are still ahead 4-3, we have now both hit it right on the nose twice.
Well, that's fantastic.
So there you go. I don't know what that's going to mean. Maybe that'll be our tiebreaker this season, so that if we don't have to worry about some sort of ridiculous tie-breaking situation. We should also figure out what we're playing for this season before the season ends, instead of like last season where we were floundering at the end.
I don't even think we figured out what we're playing for last season, have we?
No, we did. We did, because if you recall, we were last season. It was meat. Essentially, it was meat for a meal that you were going to be cooking for us in the smoker, I believe.
Okay.
And then. We made the last episode all about who was going to provide the drinks for that. So I'm providing the meat because I lost the season. You're providing the drinks because you lost that one episode.
All right. We got to get that on the books. We got to make that happen.
Yeah, I know. We'll do it. Don't worry.
All right. Now we still have one unresolved issue from this episode.
And what is that?
That is the HBO page and whether or not it has a link for John from Cincinnati.
Oh, I had forgotten. I can't wait to go. So HBO links right off of here.
Indeed.
And so we just have to see if John, is it Jon or J?
John.
John.
It is a terrible show. I believe it was made by the 6 Feet Under guys. It just did not work. It was like this modern Christ as a surfer allegory.
Yeah.
And it did not work.
I'm upset to say it's not here. It's a real shame.
Indeed. Is Larry Sanders Show on here?
Let's see.
It is.
Yes, it is. The Larry Sanders Show is linked on here, there are a lot of shows linked on here. So maybe I'm spelling Cincinnati wrong. I'm just doing a Control F to see if it's.
No, I did John from, and it's not on here.
Oh,
so.
Did you? Okay, so it's not on there. Well, there are quite a few shows on here. So, boy, you did dodge a bullet though, because there are a lot of shows listed on here.
Well, that's why I specifically picked one that got canceled in its first season, and HBO wanted to get rid of. Well, Matt, we've done it.
Yes, we have. And it's been a delight. And as always, as it always is. And I think next week, hopefully next week, we're going to have a couple special guests on, if I'm not mistaken. So you have to tune in to find out who those are going to be. Hey again, everybody. Matt Hartman here. Thanks so much for listening to Drunkard's Walk. A big thank you to Jesse L.E. for our theme music and Nick Jaramillo for our artwork, as always. And a big thank you to all of you who have given us ratings and reviews on iTunes. A big thank you to those of you who nominated us for Best Podcast and Best of the Berg. We'll be finding out soon if we actually received a nomination or not, but thank you so much for going in there and doing that if you did. We hope that you're enjoying the show, and we'll see you again next week. Take care.